Hey guys, would you like to see how I made a beautiful Lazy Susan for the holidays using an inexpensive Lazy Susan, mica flakes, and a little bit of decorative foil? Stay tuned and enjoy the video. So we're gonna start off with a Lazy Susan that I got from IKEA. You can use any kind of Lazy Susan, you can make your own, but this was complete, ready to go for $14. So what I've done is, because it comes with kind of a shiny finish on it and the edges are very hard edges, what we did is I just took 220, sanded it, and you can see the difference in the sheens. I kind of took that shine off. I also rounded my edges. I didn't use a router, I just used an orbital sander, and I really rounded the edges, both top and bottom. Unlike this one, which is very hard edges. The reason we do that is when we pour our epoxy, we want that epoxy to really flow over nicely and not build up on the edges and cause surface tension, and it'll also cause like a little lip or a ridge. All right, so everything's cleaned, ready to go. I'm gonna paint it, and because I know that I'm gonna be using some gold flakes in it, I want the base color to be also gold. You could do this any color. You could use an acrylic paint, you can use a latex paint, chalk paint, anything that you want to paint your base color. You just wanna make sure that you let that base color dry at least 24 hours if it is an acrylic or water-based paint. This is the spray paint, so I'm only gonna have to let it dry about an hour. This is the Bright and Shiny Finish Gold Rust-Oleum. Very easy. We're just gonna give it a nice coat. Doesn't have to be perfect. Because I've sanded it, it's gonna wanna soak in that paint on the edges. So I'll have to do 2 coats. I'll let that first coat dry about 15 or 20 minutes, and I'll come back and I'll do a second coat. Okay, so everything's dry, and we're gonna use the regular Stone Coat Countertop Epoxy. You can also use art coat, and that's very important if you're doing a light colored or a white type finish. You'll wanna use the art coat because it has even more UVA additives to keep it nice and bright. All right, so I'm gonna mix up part B first. B is a lot thinner, less viscous, I guess you would call it. So I mix it first. I get a little bit more accurate reading measurement when I do that. So I do recommend that if it is cooler in your environment, that you put the epoxy jugs in front of a small space heater and heat them up a little bit. Don't get them too hot, but heating them up just a little bit to about 75 degrees or so or above will really make it easier to mix. And because it's such a small amount, I'm just gonna hand mix. When I mix, I make sure that I scrape my edges and then mix that material thoroughly in the cup. That way you won't have any accidental sticky spots on your surface. Mix for about 2 minutes. So I've taken our mica flakes, which we now have available on our website, and I'm taking gold and I'm taking silver, and I'm just kind of basically dumping them in there. I do want to have more gold. I just want to have a little bit of accents with the silver, and mostly gold. Then we're going to have fun. I'm coming in with our gold finger glitter, also available on the website. A little bit of silver, and I don't want much silver at all. then I'm going to add some our white glitter. All right. Then we're going to kind of start making almost a paste, I guess you would probably call it. Now, our first coat is really only going to be to get the mica flakes on the surface. Because the mica flakes are textured, we're definitely going to need a flood coat in order for everything to level out and be flat. I'm going to mix this really well. You want it to be a paste. And I'm just going to dump this out. Now I mixed up 4 ounces of resin. And now literally we're going to take this and we're just going to start moving it out. Now I'm not worried if I have voids because I painted my base gold. Now if you want to not have any voids at all, you can definitely add some more material. All right, so I'm going to torch very lightly and from a distance. The only reason I did that is to kind of warm up my resin a little bit and make it a little easier to spread. Now, if you want to add more resin so that you have a little bit thicker surface, you can do that as well. But like I said, I have a gold base, so I'm not worried about any areas that may peekaboo through. Now, if you want 100% coverage, you'll just add more resin and you'll add more of the flakes. And because I have so much of the flake in here, I'm able to kind of manipulate it with my hand and it's not going to move a whole lot. Now on my edges, I am going to rub my hands. Come back in here and go in here and I can start applying that. Now you can do this to any color, use any color flakes. This also, believe it or not, makes a beautiful vanity. Really takes that to a high-end shimmer. Really great for small powder rooms that you just really want to have a statement. Now you could also, if you see that you're having too much of the base coming through, because I already have a very, very wet surface, I can come in with some more of the flakes and I can just start sprinkling and tapping them down. Now, because these are, again, these are textured, you will have to put another layer of epoxy so that everything will be very, very smooth. But talk about a beautiful high-end finish and a statement piece. Definitely what this is. You can even come in here if you have resin left in your cup, touch your edges, and continue to build up your edge. If you wait a little bit also till your resin starts to get a little tacky, it'll start to stick a little bit easier and you won't have to worry about it falling off. This is a great project for your kiddos. Get them in there and let them play. Now what I'm gonna do with this is probably after I put another coat of resin, I'm gonna come back and do some sort of logo. I'm not gonna, maybe some Christmas trees or something on here. I haven't quite decided. May even gift this out, so I may put a name. But what I'll do is do that with our Cricut vinyl cutter. I'll cut the vinyl, stick it on there, and then put one final flood coat. I really like that. Add a little bit of silver just to kind of highlight. I added quite a bit of gold. I think I want to add just a little bit of that silver over the top. Sprinkle just a little bit more of, randomly do the glitter. You can also come in here with some ooh, that's pretty. So if you get too much in one area, Don't worry, you can just take your hand and you can pat that out. I forgot to add diamond dust. What was I thinking? I should add some diamond dust in here. That would have been beautiful. So, pro tip, fun fact, add some diamond dust. That'll be amazing. Okay, very cool. All right, so that was fun. So I'm gonna wait until tomorrow, 24 hours, and then we'll come back. And any of these little pieces that you see that may be sticking up, I'll probably hit them really light with some sanding paper. Not a whole lot, just a little bit, kind of bring those down just a little bit. And then we will do a clear coat of epoxy. All right, guys, see you tomorrow. Okay, so it's been 24 hours, and during that time, I had a special guest come join me. This is Ashlyn. Can you say hi?
Hi.
How old are you, Ashlyn?
I am 11 years old.
You go to school?
Mm-hmm.
What grade are you in?
5th.
Are you ready for Christmas?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we've been doing Christmas ornaments today, so I decided to see if she wanted to stay and help us do this. All right. So as you see, everything is dry, but it is very textured. You can see that even on the sides, we have the flakes having highs and lows all over. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a clear coat of epoxy on this, and probably going to have to do 2, but in between the 2, we may put a Christmas logo. So let's mix up the same product that we mixed up, which is the art coat of the Stone Coat Countertop. We're going to mix it the same way. We're going to mix B first. Tell me when I get to the 2, Ashlyn, because I don't have my glasses on.
Okay.
So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, and we're doing 3 ounces per square foot again.
Stop.
All right, same thing with A. We're going to take the top off this one so it's not so hard to squeeze. How about that? All right, so here, can you look in there and tell me when I get to the 4?
Yep.
All right. Get down eye level.
There.
There, all right. So just like our first coat, we're going to mix for 2 minutes, making sure we scrape our edges. If you're doing a large area, like a vanity or something, you can definitely use your mixer with your paddle on there. Now, if you are going to add any sort of additive to your clear coat, you'll want to mix A and B up thoroughly and then add your additives. All right, so the first thing that we're going to add is a little bit of diamond dust. Now, a tiny, tiny bit. So I want you to stick your stick in there. And we're going to just take a tiny bit. Let me see. A little bit less. All right, so show the camera how much that is. Put it down just a little bit. There you go. Good. Now dump it in there. All right, and we're going to get some gold dust now. So diamond dust and gold dust can really take over a piece if you put too much. So we're just going to put a tiny bit. You want to try this? Mm-hmm. All right, ready? That is perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, so now what I want you to do is pour it right in the middle.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow.
And I'm actually going to go ahead and scoop some of this out.
Okay.
All right. Now, because it's a little bit cool in here, I am going to torch it just a little bit. Now, I want you to take your hand, okay? Put your hands together. All right, and I want you just to kind of push this. We're not going to push it off the side, though. We're just going to push it almost to the edge. All right? Almost to the edge, but not quite. Okay, perfect. All right, then you can just take your hand and do like this on the edge. Perfect. Okay, so we've leveled it all out. Now, because we know that the flakes are going to have highs and lows, I know that it's going to not be smooth on my edges with this coat. We're still going to have some texture. And actually, with this sort of finish, you may not want it to be totally super flat. Your surface can be flat because we're going to add another layer of epoxy. But your edges may still have a little bit of texture, which to me kind of gives the piece a little bit of character. All right, so we're gonna very lightly torch. I'll do this. All right, this is gorgeous. When that epoxy goes over the top of the flakes, it just gives a sense of depth, and you can see this. All right, this is really pretty. Okay, so we're gonna wait another 24 hours, and we will put a logo, maybe, haven't decided yet, or we may just put one more clear coat and call it a day. All right, see you in 24 hours. All right, so our top is dry, and like expected, we do have a few highs and lows where the mica flakes may be laid down at an angle and are a little higher than what our epoxy self-leveled to be at. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in with 220 and I'm gonna lightly sand. Now anything that's high, I'm gonna sand down smooth because I still am going to put another coat of epoxy and that's gonna level everything out. Now my sides, I'm kind of debating because I really like the fact that my sides aren't super smooth. It's almost like a rock edge. I really like it. It gives this piece a little bit of character, but some of the pieces are really high like this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in and very lightly sand that down so I create a little bit more of a rollover. Now I would not do this with an orbital sander because you may lose control of how much you're actually taking down. Now all of this I'm not worried about because my next coat of epoxy is gonna smooth this out. Again, I may have a little bit of texture on the edges, but that's actually kind of what I'm going for. All right, so my top, give it a good sanding. Now my top I do want to be a little more level because if I'm setting things on it, I don't want to have a bump protruding up through the top. All right, so after you sand the top, flip it over and maybe address if you have any really large pieces of mica sticking out. I'm not really worried about all these drips because after this is completely dry and I'm done, I'm gonna take this, flip it over, and actually sand or actually grind off my drips. Now, if you don't want to have to turn this over and sand all this down, you can bring tape around your edges. You can tape off your edges, and then as your epoxy dries, you can pull this off. Now, you have to be really careful to pull the tape off after each pour of your epoxy, because if you leave it too long, the epoxy will get too hard. You won't be able to pull the tape, and when you do pull, it's gonna rip and it's gonna stay underneath that epoxy. So I don't worry about the tape. I just flip it over when I'm completely done. I'll sand it, paint this bottom just to kind of give it a more finished look, and then I'll be done. So what I am gonna do is, if I do have any really large protruding pieces of the flake, I'll just hit it very lightly with the sander and we'll be ready. All right, once you've sanded everything, I'm gonna clean everything up with some isopropyl alcohol, clean all my dust, and we're ready to move on. All right, so I've been really thinking about what I actually want to do with this. Do I just put a clear flood coat and leave it like this and I can use it on different occasions, or do I kind of make it more holiday-ish? So let me know what you would do in the comments below. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually go another step forward because I love playing with my foils, and I have a stencil. I think I bought it at Hobby Lobby. You can use anything that you want, and I'm just gonna lay it down. Now, all you haters out there that are gonna email me or comment the fact that I didn't measure, that's just the way I roll. My husband's gonna kill me too. All right, so what do y'all think about that? Very pretty. I'm gonna come in with my foil adhesive now. This, in my opinion, is one of the very best foil adhesives on the market. I absolutely love it. I love that I have a great open time, an unlimited open time, because it's not going to dry until I put something on the surface. All right, so you can check on my website, click the tab under vendor affiliates. Also, we will put a link in the comments for this video. All right, so I have the adhesive on my roller. All right, and I'm just gonna very lightly roll it. This is a water-based product, so I'll be able to clean everything up with soap and water. I wanna go a couple of different directions, so I make sure I get everything covered. There we go. Take about 45 minutes for this to tack up to where it'll be nice and clear. And then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna add some foil. All right, so see you in about 45 minutes. Okay, the adhesive is dry to a tack, which means it's sticky. I can feel it, but it is not coming off on my finger when I touch it. All right, so here we go. We're gonna take our foil. Now what this is, this is not just a foil. It's a foil that has been metallicized onto a piece of plastic. And what happens is we're not going to be actually gluing the whole plastic down to the adhesive. We're going to actually lay the foil on top, and when we pull it off, what happens, it pulls the color or the design off the plastic. So here we go. Lay it down. I'm going to very softly go over it. And then I'm going to check. Oh yeah. So I want it to almost kind of blend in to the background, and that's why I chose this color, because I want everything to be kind of monotoned. And then I'm going to pull it up. Anywhere where it comes out really sticky, I can just go back and re-scrub it. Make sure I have full adhesion. There it comes. Anywhere that it doesn't pull up full adhesion, I can take it back, scrub. Sometimes just by adjusting the foil just a little bit and then re-scrubbing, you'll get 100% coverage on your piece. Oh, that's so pretty. All right, look at that. And now there's nothing sticky. Once you put your foil down over your adhesive, it takes all the stickiness away. All right, I love this. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do, we'll pour a clear flood coat, and then boom, we're done. All right, so I've mixed up another batch of the regular Stone Coat Countertop Epoxy, and this time I added just a little bit of diamond dust and gold dust. Just a little bit. That's really the only thing that I put in my flood coat are the diamond or the gold dust. Oh my goodness. So you're gonna just love how that gives such a sense of depth. When I add this on top, it just makes everything pop so pretty. And run my fingers. I do like to use my fingers so I can run that epoxy over the edge and really roll it up under so that as the epoxy rolls over, it doesn't form some lips or it doesn't have surface tension. All right, this is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. All right, so this is actually, I'm done. What I'll do is once this epoxy dries, 24 hours, I'll flip it over, I'll sand off the drips, and then it's ready for a gift. Now, if I wanted to go to the next step and make it more durable, if this is going to be something that's going to have a lot of high traffic, I would come over with the Ultimate Top Coat in gloss. I really think this definitely needs the gloss UTC. And, but I really don't plan on it getting a lot of high use, and the epoxy on its own is very durable. So I guess I'm done, guys. I love this. So tell me what you would do. Would you have put this logo on here, or would you have left it just kind of by itself? Let me know in the comments below. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus surprise. Come over here and look at this. So this is a Lazy Susan that I did for actually a wedding gift. And it is actually a stencil. And if you would like to know how to do this type of finish, I'll put a link in the video description below and you can check out that video. But I just put a logo on here. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to flood coat it. And this gift will be ready tomorrow. Same thing. And I do 3 ounces per square foot on these Lazy Susans. I'm using just over 4 ounces. And it comes out perfect. You can really see the diamond and gold dust over this black. And voila, we're done. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If I did a good job, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell for future notifications. You can find all of these products on our website, RK3designs.com, or we will have an affiliate link in the comments below. All right, guys, I hope everyone has a great holiday season. And until next time, remember, don't be scared, move forward, and be creative.